Let me tell you something. If you don't change now, you never will. That's the truth. Change doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen because you sit around and wish for it. It happens when you decide that enough is enough, that you can't keep living the way you've been living. When you hit that point where you look at your life and say, no more excuses. I'm doing this. Listen, we've all had those days when we feel like we're not good enough. We've all had those days when we feel defeated, when we think the world is too big, too tough for us to make a dent in. And those days, they don't get easier. Life doesn't get any less difficult just because you're tired. It doesn't slow down just because you wish it would. You have the power to change. You have the power to look at the life you have now and say, this is not enough. I want more. I deserve more. It's not going to be easy. I'm not going to lie to you. Change never is. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. Everyone would be living their best life. But the truth is, most people don't. Most people get comfortable. They settle. They live in a bubble of their own making. They tell themselves that they'll change someday, maybe next week, next year, when things are different. Things won't change unless you do. That's the law of life. If you don't change now, you will never change. You'll keep waking up to the same routine. You'll keep seeing the same walls, the same problems, the same limitations. You'll keep wishing for something different, but you won't ever get there until you take that first step. It's all on you. Your life is your responsibility. You're not going to get the help you need from anyone else. Sure, people might support you. People might cheer you on, but when the going gets tough, when the challenges pile up, it's you who has to stand up and say, I'm not quitting. I'm not backing down. I'm going to do this no matter how hard it gets. Do you want to live the same life for the next 5, 10, 20 years? Do you want to look back and regret that you didn't take action when you had the chance? If you're tired of the way things are, if you're tired of feeling stuck, tired of feeling like you're not moving forward, then change now. You have to start somewhere. You have to start right now. Even if it's just one small step, it's never going to be perfect, and that's okay. The only thing that matters is that you move forward, because each step you take now is a step that leads to the person you were always meant to be. Think about your goals. What do you want to achieve? What are the dreams that keep you up at night? You know they're possible, don't you? You know that somewhere deep down, you have everything it takes to make them real. But right now, that's just a dream. It's just an idea in your head, and it will stay that way unless you take action. The biggest mistake people make is thinking that the time for change is tomorrow, that the time for action is when things are easier, when everything aligns perfectly, when they feel ready. But I'm telling you right now, that moment doesn't exist. The stars won't align for you. You have to make the move now, even if you don't feel ready. Especially if you don't feel ready. Because when you wait, you waste time. When you wait, you stay stuck. When you wait, you're giving up on yourself. And that's not something I want for you. Now I know it's scary. It's terrifying to face the unknown, to step into a world where you don't have all the answers. It's easy to stay where it's comfortable, even if that comfort is suffocating. But here's the thing. Comfort is where dreams die. It's where ambition fades. It's where you get trapped in a cycle of what-ifs and one-days. The world doesn't reward people who play it safe. The world rewards people who take risks, People who are willing to fail, to fall, to scrape themselves off the ground and try again. People who are willing to face their fear, their self-doubt, their insecurities, and say, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to make this happen no matter what. Do you want to be that person? The one who takes risks? The one who breaks out of their shell and fights for the life they know they deserve? Because that's what it takes. It takes courage. It takes conviction. It takes the willingness to push through the hard days, the setbacks, the failures, and keep going anyway. And the truth is, it's not going to be easy. If you think it is, you're fooling yourself. Success isn't easy. Growth isn't easy. Being the person you want to be is not easy. But you can't let that stop you. You can't let fear control you. Here's the thing. The hardest moments in life, the moments when you want to quit, when you want to give up, when you feel like you've had enough, those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments that separate the people who make it from the people who don't. Those are the moments when you decide, I'm going to push through. I'm going to keep fighting. Now, I know there's a part of you that's scared. There's a part of you that's afraid to fail, afraid to fall, afraid of what might happen if you go all in. But let me tell you something. Failure is not the end. It's just a step on the journey. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. And if you're not failing, you're not growing. So take the leap. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Don't wait for the stars to align. Don't wait for some magic moment to come along and say, now is the time. The time is now. You have everything you need to start. You have the strength. You have the drive. You have the will. All that's left is to make the choice. If you don't change now, you never will. And I'm telling you, you're worth it. You deserve more than this life you're living right now. You deserve to be the person you've always wanted to be. But you have to take that first step. So what's it going to be? Are you going to stay stuck? Or are you going to step up and change your life right now? The choice is yours. But remember, if you don't change now, you never will. There comes a moment in life when you look around and realize that everything is exactly the way it's always been. You wake up, go through the motions, and the days seem to slip by without any noticeable difference. The truth is, a lot of us have been in that place before. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been stuck. Stuck in the same job, the same routine, the same old habits that never seem to get you anywhere. And it's easy to think, this is it. This is all life has for me. But let me tell you something. That's the lie. That's the trap. That moment, the moment you believe you can't change anymore, that's when you've already lost. So, what's it going to take for you to realize this is your moment? Right here, right now. Because if you don't take action now, I'm telling you, you never will. You'll wake up 5 years from now, or 10, and look back at this exact moment and realize you had a chance to change everything, and you missed it. The difference between the person you are now and the person you want to be is a decision. It's that simple. Think about it. We all have dreams, goals, aspirations. We have that inner voice that keeps telling us, I want more. I want better. But we push it down. We ignore it. We tell ourselves it's not possible. I'm too old, too tired, too late. And we keep lying to ourselves, convincing ourselves that it's okay to stay in the same place, because stepping out of that comfort zone feels scary. But here's the thing. Comfort is the silent killer of progress. Comfort will keep you stuck. It will tell you that you're okay even when you're not. Let me tell you something. You are not okay if you're not growing. You are not okay if you're not pushing yourself to the limit. You are not okay if you're sitting around waiting for a miracle. Nobody is coming to save you. The only person who can change your life is you. But change is hard. Change is uncomfortable. Change requires a fight. And the reason most people don't change is because they're afraid of that fight. They're afraid of the discomfort. They're afraid of failure. And worst of all, they're afraid of success. Because when success comes, it demands more. It demands more from you. It demands you to be more than you were yesterday. And that scares people. So what do people do? They stay where they are. They make excuses. I'll start tomorrow. I'll get to it next week. It's not the right time. But there's never a perfect time. There's never a right time. The only time is now. The only time is this moment. And if you don't take action now, you will never take it. You have to stop waiting for the perfect circumstances. Life doesn't care about your perfect circumstances. Life doesn't care if you're tired. Life doesn't care if you don't feel like it. Life keeps moving, whether you're ready or not. The question is, are you ready to change? Are you ready to stop living the life you've always lived? Are you ready to stop making excuses? The hardest part of change is not the process itself. It's the decision. The decision to change. Because once you make the decision, once you decide you've had enough, once you decide you're done being stuck, change is inevitable. It's not easy, but it's inevitable. The minute you decide you are worthy of better, you open up doors you never knew existed. But here's the reality check. Nothing happens if you don't take action. You can dream all you want, but dreams are just fantasies without action. You can tell yourself every day that you're going to get fit, that you're going to work harder, that you're going to build something for yourself. But until you actually do something about it, it's all just noise. Think about all the things you've put off, all the things you've said. I'll get to it eventually. The truth is, eventually never comes. Eventually is a lie we tell ourselves to justify procrastination. But right now is the only moment you've got. Right now is your chance to change. And I get it. It's tough. The world is full of distractions. It's full of noise that tries to pull you in a million different directions. But the real question is, what do you want? What are you willing to fight for? What are you willing to give up, to sacrifice, to do the hard things in order to get the life you know you deserve? Listen to me. If you're not willing to make changes in your life right now, if you're not willing to step into the discomfort of growth, you will stay exactly where you are. And that is a choice. It's not some cosmic force keeping you down. It's not fate. It's you. So ask yourself this. What's holding you back? What's the thing that's keeping you stuck? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it the fear of failure? Because here's a truth that most people won't tell you. Failure is part of the process. Failure is not something to be afraid of. It's something to embrace. It's feedback. It's the teacher you need to grow. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. And if you're not trying hard enough, you'll never change. But the most dangerous thing you can do is nothing. The most dangerous thing you can do is sit back and say, I'll change later. Later doesn't exist. Later is just a future excuse. The only time that matters is now. If you don't change now, you never will. I know it's tough. I know there are days when you're tired. I know there are days when you feel like giving up. I've been there. I've been at rock bottom. I've been so low I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But let me tell you something. The pain of staying where you are is greater than the pain of change. And if you can just push through that discomfort, if you can just keep going when it feels like the world is against you, that's when you start to see the real transformation. You are capable of more than you know. You are stronger than you think. You have untapped potential just waiting to be unleashed. But you've got to believe in it. You've got to believe that you can change. You've got to believe that you are worth the effort. But here's the kicker. Only you can make the choice. Only you can decide that enough is enough. Only you can decide that you're ready to stop being stuck. Only you can decide to make today the day everything changes. So make that choice. Don't wait. Don't tell yourself you'll change tomorrow. Change today. Take that first step. Do the thing that scares you. Go after that dream. Take the risk. Fight for your future. Because if you don't change now, you never will. Time. It's the one thing that we all have in common. Yet it's also the one thing that slips away from us the fastest. When we're young, we think we have forever. But then we blink, and suddenly the years are gone. We look back and ask ourselves, where did the time go? But here's the thing. The time that's passed doesn't define us. The time that's left does. What you do now matters more than anything else. The present moment is where all the power lies. It's the only moment you have control over. So if you don't take action now, if you don't make that choice to change right now, then when? Let me ask you this. Do you want to look back at your life in 10 years and wish you'd started sooner? Do you want to have regrets that haunt you for the rest of your life because you kept putting things off? Right now, you have the power to decide. You have the power to turn your life in a completely new direction. But that requires something more than just wishing and hoping. It requires action. The biggest mistake most people make is thinking that change is something that happens overnight. They think they'll wake up one day and magically be different. But the truth is, change doesn't happen like that. It's a process. And that process begins with one small decision. One decision that you make right now. And that decision is simple. You choose to act. You choose to stop waiting. You choose to stop dreaming and start doing. The moment you make that decision, you've already taken the hardest step. The rest is just the work. The messy, uncomfortable, but rewarding work. Change doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require you to have it all figured out. It doesn't require you to know exactly what the future holds. What it requires is that you keep moving forward, one step at a time. And let me be clear, every step you take is progress, even the small ones. Every decision to move forward, even if it feels insignificant at the time, is a step towards the life you want. Think about this. Have you ever noticed how often we get in our own way? We overthink, we worry, we second-guess ourselves, and then we end up doing nothing. That's what holds most people back. They're paralyzed by indecision and fear. But the real secret to breaking free from that is taking action before the fear can settle in. You don't have to know everything. You just need to take the first step. Look, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like the road ahead will be a smooth ride. There will be obstacles. There will be days when you feel like giving up. But let me tell you something. Those moments of struggle, those are the moments that shape you. Those are the moments that build your character and strength. Those are the moments that separate the ones who will succeed from the ones who will stay stuck. So what are you going to do today? What small action are you going to take right now that will move you closer to where you want to be? Because the longer you wait, the more you push your dreams away. The longer you stay in your comfort zone, the harder it becomes to break out of it. But here's the good news. It's never too late. No matter how long you've been stuck, no matter how many times you've failed, the opportunity to change is always available to you. It just requires you to make the decision. And the best part? Once you make that decision, the universe starts to align. People, opportunities, resources, they all start showing up in ways you never expected. You'll begin to attract what you need because you've made the choice to take action. It's like a chain reaction that starts with you. So, let this be your wake-up call. Let this be the moment you stop doubting yourself. Let this be the moment you take control of your life. No more waiting for the perfect time. No more excuses. The perfect time is now. Get up. Make the change. Start the work. Take the first step and trust that everything else will follow. Remember, if you don't change now, you never will. And that's a reality you don't want to face. Take the leap. The world is waiting for you to show up. The hardest part of changing your life isn't about figuring out what to do or having everything in place. The hardest part is making the decision that you're no longer willing to stay the same. The hardest part is believing that you deserve better, that you can be better. But once you make that decision, everything else falls into place. The path ahead may not be easy, but it's yours to walk. The choice is yours. You can stay where you are, or you can take a chance on yourself. And if you choose to change, if you choose to start now, then tomorrow will look different. Your future will look different. And that, my friend, will be the greatest victory of all.